Welcome to the world of DayZ, a brutal yet beautiful game. In this series I will cover the basics on how to survive the harsh environments of Chernarus, a fictional country set somewhere between Russia and Eastern Europe. Chernarus is huge, with an area of 225 square kilometers, 15 kilometers high and wide. Given the geography of the region, you will encounter many Russian names as you navigate around the map, as all town names are in Cyrillic alphabet, which can be confusing at first. In this episode, I will introduce the many spawning locations you may encounter upon entering the game. After spawning well over 100 times, I have narrowed down the spawning locations to 9 main sections of the map. It is worth noting that all locations are located near the beach, which can either be the southern or eastern coast. I will now describe all 9 areas and highlight the major landmarks you can use to pinpoint your exact location. Our first spawn is Bay Mutnaya, which is distinguished by its lighthouse and a row of towering apartments up in the tree line. It is also situated slightly west of the city of Chernarus, the largest city on the map. Despite its size, there isn't a particularly impressive amount of loot here, and you'll most likely die of hunger before you make it to the other side. That's if you're not killed by one of the many other new players in the area, or perhaps by a horde of undead. The best thing about this spawn is the nearby military base of Bolota. Again, you are at risk when bumping into other players, however the benefits of an early automatic machine gun might just be worth it. Further to the east is Cap Galova. Similar to the first location, it too has a lighthouse with views of Cherno in the distance. However, the lack of buildings and prominent swampland should distinguish it from other areas. There is also a very steep hill covered in trees, known as Kozlova. At its base you will find a bridge crossing some train tracks, with an abandoned freight train beneath it. It's definitely worth checking out as you're likely to find a melee weapon or two. As we continue to move east, we come to the second largest city on the southern coast, known as Electro. You can expect spawns anywhere between here and the last location. The key is to look out for Kozlova in the distance to know that you're west of the city, and look out for a lighthouse located on a separate island off the mainland to know you're east of it. Electro also has a hill towering over it, known as Sniper Hill. It can be easily identified by looking out for a church located at its base. But I wouldn't linger here too long. It's a common spawn point, and with that comes the possibility of bumping into others much less friendly. Best keep running along the coast, looting the rowboats as you go. The last spawn located on the southern coast is the small village of Kambiwobo, which is about 5 minutes run from Electro. It is distinguished by a steep row of trees and several small islands located just off the beach. This village also has a police station, which is a good location to pick up your first gun. Next we move on to the eastern coast, and we start with Solnichny. This is a fairly small town, but its main distinction is a large quarry dug into the hillside. The coast here is vast and rather unremarkable. I recommend keeping the sea to your right and look out for a large factory with numerous train tracks nearby. The continuous steep row of trees is also a good indicator of where you are. Moving further north, we reach Bay Nezanea. Here we still have limited landmarks. However, the steep hillside begins to level off, and instead you see a large horizon of farmland. There is also a large orchard just nearby, which is quite useful for finding fallen apples. Our next area is the industrial town of Lumbermill. Here you will find many large warehouses along with more trains. You'll also find another lighthouse on the mainland and 2 small rail bridges near the beach. However, the main landmark here has to be the tall chimney in the centre of town. There isn't one quite like it in any other spawn point. Finally, you will find a large dock and also a church nearby with a graveyard located slightly north of town. Further north we come to Riffy, most notable for its large abandoned cargo ship and steep rocky cliffside. It's never really worth looting the ship as it will take too long, depleting your energy resources and most likely lead to you falling from one of its broken platforms. Instead, stick to checking the open cargo containers that scatter along the beach. And if the boat wasn't landmark enough, there is yet another lighthouse located on the cliff top. And finally, at the most northeast part of the map, the town of Svetlodjarsk. Distinguished by its huge port area, you could be mistaking it for Electro, both having identical churches. However, look for a radio tower at the top of the hill and you'll know where you are. This is a great location to start with, as it's already as north as you could get and it has everything you need to get started. It's without a doubt my favourite spawn on the map. Next time we will cover the basics of survival, from gathering food and water to protecting ourselves from the many threats out there in Chernarus. But for now, stay safe and thank you for watching.